Okay. All right. Peace, blessings, enough, holy, plenty, a lot of love to all our queens and all our kings in the house. Really, really appreciate it. And all our kings. All right, wonderful. And so thank you all very much for joining us this wonderful Thursday. Really appreciate. And we are going to move right along and start with our theme song, of course. And so welcome everyone. Those on YouTube, we also want to welcome you to this wonderful deep dive, globally changing lives on this wonderful Thursday. Really appreciate everyone here on Deep Dive. And as I said, we will be venturing now into our theme song, which is In It to Win It, with our one and only international singing recording artist, Lerato Shadari. And that's this song has been a very wonderful song through the years that we have been using it thus far. And so, without any further ado, we are going to start out with In It to Win It with Lerato Shadari. So, please listen. Excuse Dr. Derrick, is it being recorded? Yes, yes. Okay. We are on passive, shining bright into the future. We rise high. next up is on passive.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
All right. All right. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Queen Larata Shadari. Really appreciate. Really appreciate. All right. King Carlton in the house. All right. Good, good, good. And thank you all for joining us once again. Really appreciate. And moving right along, we do have the next presentation, which is our very own mindset mindset presentation, of which the topic for today is 10 most unhealthy foods. The 10 most unhealthy food. And of course, the speaker, it's a she's an inspirational speaker, have been speaking for many, many years, an international speaker, an entrepreneur long before on passive, talk show host, and of course, a grandmother of nine. She has been doing um, these presentations for about 3 years now, and it has been a wonderful, lovely experience learning about all of these health, that will give us wealth. And it is none other than our very own beautiful, wonderful, loving, Queen Jacqueline Warner. Over to you, Queen Jacqueline Warner.
Thank you so much, Dr. Derrick, King Dr. Derrick. We appreciate this platform so much. Thank you for the introduction. And thank you to the brand ambassadors that showed up. Thank you for your support always. Thank you to the other leaders also, even though they're away. I pray that all is well with each and every one of them, and also the brand ambassadors. And we just want to thank God for allowing us to be here and alive and enjoying every day that He gave unto us graciously. You know, if it wasn't for Him, we wouldn't be here. I want to thank Ash, my father, for sharing his dream with each and every one of us. He didn't have to, but we thank him for all that he's doing, and we wish him much success in whatever endeavor he's facing at this time. Yes, this evening the topic is about 10 foods, 10 unhealthy foods that actually is associated or related to the chronic diseases that some of our family members suffer with. Some of them have passed on. Some are suffering with it now. You know, it could be friends or neighbors. And it's just an ongoing situation because sometimes people are totally unaware that the foods they eat are actually the major cause of the chronic diseases that they suffer with or even die because of those chronic diseases. So it's good for us to be aware of the things that causing havoc in our life, that causing us to suffer and to have pain and to be unhappy, you know, and not enjoying the abundant life that God has ordained for each and every one of us. So it's good because our Father's Heavenly Father state that, you know, because of the lack of knowledge, my people perish. And we want to stop perishing, you know, we want to turn that around. Because if he said that's the missing link, then that's something that we need to focus on and say, you know what, we need to be knowledgeable of everything that concerns our well-being. And like, you know, in the world, it will say, well, we can't have wealth without health, or we can't have health. We can't have wealth if we don't have health. So that's something to focus on too. And, you know, think about all the things that we want to do. And if we're not mindful or take heed that, you know, our health could become a major blocker in in us, pursuing our goals and our dreams and all that good stuff, and even living a joyful life. People are leaving this planet besides the ones that's dying naturally, but the majority, I think it said 78% or 70% of the people that pass on is due to chronic diseases, more than natural deaths, or accidents, you know. If someone died from an accident, you don't feel so bad. But when you know that they're suffering from cancer and going to dialysis and this immorality, problems that we face is a daily struggle, is a daily challenge. But we are more than conquerors according to our Heavenly Father. So I'm just going to give you a little introduction, um, tell you about the five major chronic diseases, and we practically know of some of them already. And a lot of stuff is going to sound like, I heard that before, but it's good for us to hear it again in case we missed it or we overlooked it and it didn't seem important or I didn't understand it. So here we go. The 10 foods we should not eat that are related to chronic diseases. In today's modern world, our diet has dramatically shifted from natural, whole foods to ultra processed, chemically engineered, and industrially farmed products. And you can see that when you go to the supermarket, because I know when I go and looking at fish, I see farm raised, and it's okay. Some people say, well, it's farm raised, it's in a particular environment, and they are fed a certain kind of food, so that should be safe. But have we ever visited those places where fishes are farmed? And we haven't. We just can't put our trust so openly and say, you know what, we could pray about it and everything will going to be okay. But bad is bad, and I always say it, and good is good, unless there would not have been a separation between bad and good. So we can't just lean on our own understanding and jeopardize our health. So these harmful foods have been strongly linked to the rise of preventable chronic diseases. And these diseases are preventable. But because we continue to eat the toxic foods that we're unaware of, and we're thinking it's okay, entrusting our whole being into the hands of man and not trusting what God has already spoken before man even became into existence. And so we need to take heed, and we need to research and really look into the things that we're putting into our mouths, because it has to go into our mouths first before it gets anywhere else. And we stop it from there and say, hold up, let me check this out. Let me read the label. Let me find out if this is good or bad before I put it into my mouth or share it with my family, my children. They're going to be the ones that have to, they say the children are the future of the world. And if we kill our future, then we don't have a future. So it's very important for us to start looking into these foods that we're putting into our mouths, even the ones that we eat at fast foods. And it says it right there, fast food, you know. So the five comic, I'm just going to give a brief oversight of the five chronic diseases linked to poor diet. The first one, of course, and it's a major, is heart disease. I know many of us have friends, me, myself, know of close people, family, or friends that went into the restroom to pass some urine, and they never came back out. Or I know of friends that, hey, the dad wasn't feeling too well, and he said, I'm not feeling too well. And before you know it, he was experiencing a heart attack, and no one around him knew what to do, but waiting for the EMS to arrive. And then at that time, they pronounce him dead, because it takes seconds. I think it goes up, I think it's up to 5 minutes or 3 to 5 minutes before the person is fully gone if we don't take action immediately. That's how fast you can pass away from a heart attack. And number two, of course, you know it already, is diabetes. And diabetes, it got type 1, it got type 2. But to me, diabetes is diabetes, because if you don't take care of type 1, you're going to end up with type 2. And from there, you end up on dialysis, kidney failure, and all these things that's preventable and unnecessary if we only take the necessary steps that we need to take. So type 2 diabetes is driven by excessive sugar intake and processed carbs and liquid sugars. You know, I see people in the supermarket picking up, now they come out with 0 sugar. And yet it is still sweet. So something is not right. And people get how you said, it becomes so normal, the taste, because once you taste it and you say, oh, that don't taste right. But then they look like they look for the taste. They accept the taste. Because the body says, no, I don't, that don't taste right. And they don't say, oh, it says 0 sugar. So I'm okay. I could drink as much Coke, 0 Coke. They even put it in other stuff now. I see it in Gatorade saying 0, and even in the juices that people think that are juices and they give to the children. It cannot be a juice again when it says from concentrated or pasteurized. The orange juices is no good. It's best that you get. I remember my grandmother used to take a orange and she would squeeze it, and they had this old time squeezer glass that you would just put the orange and twist it and get the juice. And you didn't even need that much, a half a glass to, and if you wanted to add water to it, you could. You know what I mean? But it was natural with seeds. We tend to, they brainwash us and then we brainwash ourselves. So there's a double brainwashing going on. And we don't know how to cleanse the brain and relearn. And then that's what needs to take place. We need to relearn because we are brainwashed, or we have been deceived in thinking that everything is okay and it's not. Okay. The next one is obesity, and we can see that all over, even in babies, because it starts from babies, because parents are saying, you know, I want my baby to go to sleep. I'm gonna double her formula, put in a lot of cereal in there. Oh, she got it. They won't get up after this, you know, or they will add they're giving them Pepsis in their bottles, little babies, young mothers who don't know what to do, you know, and they think it's okay. I don't see it ever okay to give a baby Coke or Pepsi in their bottle, or those dyed juices, yellow and green and blue, in their bottles. That is suicidal. That is not correct whatsoever. But if you don't teach them, they won't know, you know. The next one is, of course, we know it is, I mean, I think I didn't finish up obesity. It's tied to calorie dense, nutrition poor fake foods, because there's a lot of fake foods out there. Seed oils that we think is okay to cook with and not. Okay. Fried foods and sugary drinks again. Okay. And number 4 is cancer, which is growing like a vine. And that's connected to processed meats and red meats cooked improperly, and genetically modified foods sprayed with glyphosate, and alcohol consumption. All these things is associated to these chronic diseases, you know, these processed meats, these red meats. I remember my mom used to love her steak rare with the, I don't know, well, it's not, I don't know if it was blood running out of it, but it was red to me, and I did never like my meat that way with blood run. I didn't think that was healthy. I think that was nasty, simple as that. When I see anybody eating blood or running out of their meat, that is not terribly cooked. It might taste good, but I think only animals And that's the vultures that eat other animals. It's not every animal eat the animal meat, but we who are not animals eat everybody meat. What we're not supposed to. Okay, you hear DrDerrick talk about it all the time. And liver disease, which is strongly linked to alcohol and high intake of liquid sugar, again, like fructose, aspartame, all those sweet and low, those are not healthy sugars at all. And I don't see how people, I remember I was working and I didn't really had no lunch that day. I didn't have no breakfast stuff when I got to work. And I said, you know what, let me have a coffee. And they had no regular sugar. So I decided, well, let me try a sweet and low because I never tried it before. And I knew it wasn't good either, because I remember years ago they said it died. They use it for rats and the rats died. So I knew it wasn't no good. But Lord, I didn't have no sugar in that one. So I opened and I took a little bit and put in the coffee. Let me tell you, whoo, that coffee tastes nasty. I couldn't even drink it. So I don't know how people get past it. You know, they even have diabetics using that other one. I don't know, I can't remember the name, but it's blue and white. And you know, if diabetes, if a sugar is your issue and you're taking a sugar, they even have them drinking the other thing. What's Ensures? Full of sugar. Have canola oil and all kind of mess in there, about two paragraphs of ingredients. If something take that much to make, leave it there. Leave it on the shelf. Say no, thank you. Now, the 10 foods to avoid. Number one is fake foods, and those are the ultra processed foods. These highly processed foods contain additives, they contain preservatives, dyes, and chemicals that the body cannot properly metabolize. But yet we put it in there and we just maybe praying and hoping that the body will somehow work it out because it tastes good. And it looks good to my eyes. It tastes good to my taste buds. But is it good for my body? We're not concerned about that. We're selfish. Yeah, we got to look at it that way. We are selfish because we're only thinking about our mouth, but we're not thinking about what it's doing to our bodies. And we suffer the consequences at the end of the day. Even though people say, well, I don't care, I got to go out somewhere anyway. But that's the wrong mindset to have. That is not a positive mindset one bit. When I hear people say that, I just know where their mindset is not right. And they're going to feel it one day. And they wish they could turn the clock around. But it will be too late. There do come a time when it's too late. Okay? And so these foods have been stripped of the natural nutrients and fiber, and they just contributing to obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. Simple as that. And you know, a lot of fake food, the people who suffer too, is people who think they're eating, we're vegan. And they're eating these food that say Beyond and all these things full, you know, I pick them up and I read the labels just to say Baka or Boca. The people are eating things like that. Those are not real food. If you want to be vegan, start eat your fruits, your natural fruits and vegetables, and see what the wonders they do for you. You will be fighting the problems that the body already have. But you're adding to it. We're adding to it. And we're making it more terrible because we don't feel no ailments yet. But the body does give signs. But we overlook them or we ignore them. And, you know, if it feels better by the end of the day, we don't worry about it again until it comes again. And then you say, maybe I should tell my doctor about that pain that I'm having in my shoulder, or that pain that I'm having in my left arm, or that pressure that I'm feeling in my heart. Don't wait. Make the change today. Okay. The next one, liquid sugar. That's the sodas and the sweetened beverages, and they come out with them like crazy. Sometimes I see the guys drinking these monster drink. I said, it even say monster. You want to become a monster? A drink is telling you that it's a monster and you're drinking it, or the next one, Red Bull. Now that they're not even adding it to their drink anymore. They drinking it like a refreshing drink. I was shocked. I said, oh, now they drink that alone by itself? I thought it was a mixer. But it has gotten so bad. And people work these 3 and 4 jobs and they say, you know what, let me get a monster. I just need a little energy to take me through the next job. But what is it doing to your heart? What is it doing to the kidney? What is it doing to your energy level? What is it doing to your immune system? We're not thinking about that. And not saying that you're so selfish. It's just that some of us trying to make it to the next job, or have a little energy to play with our children, or just to have some energy at all. Because we're so drained. And we think, well, if we just have that energy drink, that we're going to be okay. But we're deceiving ourselves and we're killing ourselves internally. Okay, so these liquid sugars and sodas, all they do, they spike our blood glucose level rapidly. And because we think you have to be a diabetic to have a meter, a sugar monitor around, we don't even know when our sugar is elevated. But you don't have to be a diabetic to have a monitoring machine. You check your sugar in the morning before you even eat anything, and you will know how your sugar is going throughout the day. So every meal you take, you say, you know what? Let me check my sugar 2 hours after that meal to see how my sugar is. You can regulate your own sugar and check it out for yourself and see how it's doing. So you don't have to be a diabetic. You don't have to have hypertension to have a blood pressure machine. Don't be that arrogant about ourselves. So these things they overwork the pancreas. The pancreas is the one that has to do all the work when we put all this sugar in the body. And then it become insulin resistant. It say I can't do this no more. They don't have a conscience. We're overworking here. Nobody is thinking about us, but we got to think about our pancreas, because when that don't work, we're not going to work well at all. We're going to end up on that diabetic saying, "Oh, you've been diagnosed with diabetes. I think you have diabetes type 2. Um, I can put you on some metformin and maybe some insulin to let's control it." You heard the word control, not cure, but control. They tell you exactly, but I think we don't listen too well, or we not paying attention, and figure we're going to get a medication that's going to go ahead and help us out. We feel great, like it's really going to do something. But throughout the years, you're going to end up on dialysis. I guarantee you that. I have seen it too many times. So it increases the risk for diabetes, and you get that fatty liver that sometimes we don't even know that we have a fatty liver until we go and take some other tests that's out of the physician hands, and we go and take a risk and take a chance to get some other tests outside the medical field. And that's the only time we will find out, hey, you got a fatty liver, or you're constipated. You're not past, your bowels ain't moving right. And it also leads to obesity, which is a problem here in the Americas, and is spreading to the countries globally. Because not everything is banned in the countries that comes out. Not all foods are banned in other countries. There are some foods that is automatically banned in 28 countries that they're not eating um, all of American food. You see, they ban certain things, and America is not themselves is not banning the foods that's no good. So what's that telling you? Who do they care about? And then we got to learn to start caring about ourselves. Because if somebody don't care about you, and that's in any relationship, you're not going to be bothered with that person. So why are we going to be bothered with someone for a system that is not there for us as human beings? And it's not as a particular race or anything, but as human beings in general. And so we got to wake up. The next one is fruit juices. You know, packaged fruit juices often contains as much sugars as sodas. If you see something say past 16 or 13 grams of sugar, that's crazy. I call that suicide. Why? Because I know some webinars, maybe last year sometime, I said exactly how many grams a man should have and a woman should have. And it's less than 10 grams a day. So if you're drinking something that say has 36 grams of sugar, and you go and have a pastry, okay, for snack, and then you eat lunch and you have another pastry, or you are definitely gonna drink a soda with your pizza or your hot dog, because they say two hot dogs and a soda for $5, and you figure, well, that's right up my alley. That's all I got, man. I'm getting that. Hmm? When you look, the hot dogs you're eating is no good, because you don't know what kind of meat grind up in there and put it into the casing, and you don't know if it's pig casing or whatever they use, but it tastes good. It look good too. Girl, I don't care what you say. I'm having these two hot dogs and I'm drinking my soda. You go ahead, honey. I gotta eat. Yes, indeed. And your organs need to function, and they need to function properly so you can function properly. But we don't see it that way. Okay, so these fruit juices, they say artificial, natural, and artificial flavor. My granddaughter was picking something up and, oh, that tastes good, Grandma. I say, look what it says, artificially flavored. What is it artificially flavored with? Why are you taking something artificially flavored into your diet, in putting it into your mouth for your body to say, I don't know what that is that she ate, but I sure don't recognize it. Now, what we supposed to do with this? Should we send it over by the pancreas, or should we flush it through the liver? Is it going to affect the heart? Is the lungs going to be okay? No, we ain't thinking like that. It just tastes good and look good. So these things carry so much sugar. So when I look at something and I know I want to have something sweet, I look at the sugar intake. And I can guarantee you that when you do good, you feel good and you look good. I can tell you that. Because when I don't do good, I don't feel good. And I'm going to tell you the truth, I don't look good either. And I know when I'm not doing good. You might not know it, but when you're messing up, this weight comes on like water. And you'll be like, and if you're not going on the scale and saying, let me go check, because I know I'm messing up. Let me just see where I'm going. Or where's that? It's nothing wrong with checking. It's you. You're saving. It's your temple that God have loaned onto us. Why do we want to self-destruct? Why? Anyway, but they are marked healthy. Some of them says 100% juice. And when you read the label, it says from concentrated. Better yet, it's so healthy. It's 100% juice, but it's pasteurized or homogenized. When these things go to a high heating level, it's no longer good. They become toxic. And then they say they add vitamin D. Why would you need to add vitamin D if it comes with vitamin D? Ain't that a question when you see vitamin D added or vitamin C added? Ain't you see that that's genetically modified already? We got to use wisdom, but we don't seem to be using it. And we're going to die because of not using wisdom. Me included. If I don't use wisdom, myself going to kill myself. So these juices, juicing removes fiber, leaving behind concentrated fructose that damage the liver. Number 4 is the processed meats and red meats. These processed meats, bacon, sausage, deli meats are classified as group 1 when it comes to carcinogens, okay, by the WHO Foundation, and you know them very well, okay? They was very active during the COVID time. I don't know if they still active. They ain't showing it, but that's who run things. Okay. These red meats, when cooked at high temperature or overconsumed, increases the cancer risk. Note, and we would think asbestos is only in the paint, but asbestos causes cancer and it's in our foods. And they ain't gonna tell you so. But we gotta read. If you can't read, let Google or Alexa read for you. And ask question, it will gladly answer it for you. Or go to Chat GPT. We gotta be AI, ready too. Take the good, use it for the good, and leave the bad. Asbestos itself causes cancer. I have worked in facilities in New York that had asbestos, and they came in and put in some kind of blue light or whatever. I don't know what that was supposed to do, I guess, clean the air so we don't get cancer. A lot of people work in schools and asbestos is in there, but they're totally unaware. And then you see one by one dying from cancer. Something is wrong. The connection here may be about contamination or industrial risk. Number 5 is fried foods. We think fried foods are great. I love fried foods. I like my fried plantain. I like my fried fish. But it's talking about that deep frying, immerging the chicken or the fish into a saturated in oil. And that's what happens at restaurants. Is deep fried. And you got to think of the oils they're using. They're not using good oil. But most of us ain't using good oils either. Vegetable oil. I don't know which vegetable gives oil, but they say vegetable oil. They say sunflower. Sunflower is a seed. You don't want to have cook with those kind of oils. You have to cook with an oil that's high temperature, and that's actually a oil, like avocado oil. I can't say grapeseed oil because it's a seed oil, and those are not oils that you will learn that we don't need to be using. Okay, so deep frying creates trans fats, which are harmful compounds. Food in their raw or lightly cooked state retain nutrients more and the enzymes, which is beneficial for the body. So you see, we got to eat things and always keep our body in mind. Not just our mouth, but our body, my organs. Is this going to help me? And then number 6 is seed oils. Cheap industrial oils are soybean, corn, canola, anything that they call seed, or high or are high in omega-6 fats, which promote inflammation to the body when consumed excessively, and many are genetically modified and processed with chemicals. So and I always say it, if you don't do the right thing, you won't know. If you're doing the wrong thing all the time and you never tried the right thing, you will never know that what you're eating is wrong, is right, is wrong. You will think it's right. But if you take a chance and say, you know what, let me check this stuff that they say is good, and you go and put it and taste the bad stuff, you will say, this stuff ain't no good. But if you're doing bad all the time, you will never know what is good. So you got to venture out. You got to venture out. The cars that is good. You like Dr. Derrick would say, you ain't gonna put diesel in an automatic car. You're not, because it's going to destroy it. But we got to think of our bodies too. Are we going to put diesel in there? Or are we going to put the foods that we need to put in there so our body can recognize and function adequately? So we can live disease-free life. And we can. Okay? The next one is cow secretion, which is fall under dairy, or or butter or milks or yogurts. All these things come from the cow. The cow is pregnated all its life. They don't wait for the cow to get pregnant to secrete the milk naturally. These cows are forced to be pregnant 365 days a year for somebody's pocket and not for the benefit of the cow and not for the benefit of human beings. But yet we just go along with the program. Modern dairy production involves cows being kept pregnant continually. Many countries ban American dairy due to hormone use. They know the flavor. They know the stuff in America is toxic. You think they're going to bring it over to intoxicate their people and make their people sick, and they're going to have a country full of sick people, wasting probably the taxpayer money, and because some of the places do not, they don't pay. They give medical free. People don't pay for medical in some countries. They get free education and free medical. America's big and great, can't give free free medical and free education. Everything is a money, money, money. Abra Maria. So about 76% of people of color are lactose intolerant, and probably we don't know that. But a lot of us are lactose intolerant. So we should be eating non-dairy products. We shouldn't give our children milk. When you look, they get ear infections, and then they want to put in tubes into their ears, making more of a problem. And some parents don't know how to say, no, I'm going to look into something else. Because they're so afraid of the system saying they're non-compliant, and they call the system, another system, in on them. But you have the right to say, wait a minute, I'm going to look into this and then I'll get back to you. Take control. Take control when it comes to your children. And so, like I was saying, meaning their bodies cannot properly digest dairy. That's just what it means when you're lactose intolerant. The body cannot tolerate it. It either send you with diarrhea to the bathroom, or you develop mucus, more other issues, and then it just becomes a big old problem for who? Not the doctor, not the government, not the community, but for you and your family. Number 8 is genetically modified foods. I think I'm staying a little too long, speed it up here. GMOs like corn and soy are widely sprayed with glyphosate, a chemical linked to health lawsuits, and banned in 28 countries due to the cancer risk. And that's more reason for us on the foods. If even kosher, I pick up some kosher package because kosher is supposed to be so better. In small little letters, you're gonna see there, biogenetically engineered. I said, oh my God, if people not reading the labels, how would they see those little words? And you're saying kosher, so we think kosher is good. But even that is genetically modified. Read your labels. I walk around with my glasses. You know why? Because the wording is so little. And sometimes when I say, well, read the label, sir, he said, I can't see it. They can't see the words because the words are so little. So I walk with my little specs and even my clothing. Even my clothing, I got to walk with a little specs so I could see the little fine words that they make them so small. Not everybody can read them little fine letters. And so you just say, okay, you just pick it up and you keep on going. But you're damaging yourself. We are damaging ourselves, and we need to wake up. It costs too much to live, and it costs too much to die. Oh my gosh. Help us, Lord. Alcohol is another thing. Sometimes we think, hey, we could take a little drink and everything is cool, and socially and whatever. But alcoholics have issues, and they have research to prove it. So the new research confirms that no amount of alcohol is safe. And I know they say, yeah, just take a glass of red wine. And even in the medical, they say, the body consists of alcohol, so having a glass is no problem. And I think some of the medication in the emergency room have that. So those alcoholics that go in and they having withdrawals, there's a little something in there that get them right. But it's not healthy. So we got to find the healthy things. Or we can make our own alcohol. I don't know if that's any better. I won't recommend it because it said it's no good. Okay? It's toxic to the liver, to the brain. You see, when the officers stop someone that they think is intoxicated, what they do? They tell them to walk a straight line, or they might ask them some information. They can't even speak correctly. They can't walk correctly. So you can see right there that it messes you up, and it's visual. Okay, so we got to be careful, and of course, it messes with the pancreas. And that's where the diabetes or insulin resistance comes in. Mess that up. Then here we go, diabetes on the rise. And people don't realize that alcohol is a sugar. So that's it. Our Heavenly Father knows already before we even experience these things that my people will perish because of lack of knowledge. And even when we get the knowledge, we tend to do otherwise. Because we feel so comfortable. We're in a comfort zone and it feels good. And it also promotes inflammation, which a lot of us suffer from. Inflammation within the body. And if we don't get rid of it, that's what turns things into cancer. Imagine a wound there all the time. It's not getting better, but it's just getting worse and getting worse. It got to turn to cancer. Cancer is almost like a rotting of our inside. And number 10 is vegan junk food diet. Vegan think they're doing something great, not talking against them, but because of lack of knowledge, we all think that what we're eating is good, vegan or non-vegan. But I'm here to tell you that many processed vegan foods are just fake foods in disguise. Fake bacon. They say the fake cheese. They got all these fake things, and you go in the supermarket and people are buying them. To me, if you could do good the first time, why you didn't do good? Now people saying they're going to eat this and eat that. They don't want to eat that no more. Everybody's jumping on the bandwagon and they're saying, oh, this is organic. You're making good and bad in one facility and you're dividing it and saying this one good and that one bad. And we're trusting that. No, we can't trust. God said trust no man. He said it clearly. Give them the benefit of the doubt till they prove themselves wrong. And they have been proving themselves wrong for decades. And we've been going along with the program. And our family members and loved ones have been passing on. I had about 3 family members that passed on with cancer. And just to see what they was feed them in the hospital, even though they had cancer. Unless you got money and go to a specific hospital that really cares, hopefully they do exist, I'm not sure, but I guess they do. That can truly help you, that really cares. I'm not sure. But we got to be the number one to care. Okay? So these things are loaded with chemicals, fake meat, artificial additives, seed oils, canola, sunflower. These are seed oils. They're not good. They're not good. Okay, that's what the restaurants use because it's cheaper. And what happened with those oils, they go ahead and use them again, like they filter them and they reuse them, so making them even more toxic. So when you think you're eating a French fry that tastes so good, you're eating a toxic French fry because that been immersed in oil, seed oil. They're not going to buy avocado oil and tell you, oh, it's fried in avocado oil. No, they're not. It's too expensive. You got to think how they're looking at their pockets, just like we look at ours. Okay? So real plant-based eating means whole, fresh foods that come directly from nature. And we always say from your backyard or even in the store, the things that you know are grown from the earth. Those are the things you eat. Wash your vegetables. I even wash my bottles when I bring them in the house. I wash everything in soap and water. I don't care who they are. I know they say use baking soda and vinegar. Yes, you can. But let me tell you, soap and water do a great job for me. So making a change. Removing these harmful foods is not about restriction. Don't look at it, oh, I'm being restricted. I don't even know what to eat. I'm tired of this. Don't get tired. Get revive or revise. Get healthy. It's about replacing them with real, whole, nutrient-dense foods like the fresh fruits, vegetables. What about eating a boil of, fresh string beans? You don't even have to have it on the stove that long, a little olive oil, and you put it in there. I think olive oil could come from might, I don't, I don't know if it come from the seed or the fruit itself. So we have to be careful with that. It didn't mention it, but I know there's a seed in there. So I might have to look in a little further, but they talk about it. It's the body recognizes it, so it's good, but still for your own sake. Always don't go by everything people say. Go and research. I could say everything here, but go and say, you know what? Let me confirm what she's saying. Okay, she might be talking right, but let me go check it out for myself. Whole grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, clean meats. If you're going to consume meat, you have to look for the grass-fed meat. Okay, you have to go to the people who rear their own. It has people in the community. I know people in Florida, they get together and they buy a whole cow and they share the meat amounts each other. Okay, because what makes the meat bad is how the production of the people that's they're looking for their pockets, and so that's what makes the meat. But if you see the cow out there in the grass eating the grass and out in the sun, that's healthy. And he's not pregnated all the time to be giving you milk. You're buying the whole cow and you're sharing it amongst your community, within your community, with the people who at least chipped up to help buy the cow. So you can do that. You can get fresh fowls. If you must eat meat, you can do it a clean way. Because that's how people ate back in the day. And when you eat the real stuff versus the stuff in the supermarket, you will taste the difference. I can guarantee you that. Okay. The Arabs, they kill their meat a different way, and they drain all the blood out of their meats. It's a better chance, and they have to have an inspector to inspect their meat. You can go and ask questions on a one-to-one. They're right there, and they can explain to you how everything is done. So there is ways, if you want to eat meat, that you can eat clean meat. Don't bother to eat the stuff that's in the supermarket. It is dangerous, I'm telling you. It's so scary. Anyway, and water, okay? Must drink that water, and a particular water. All right? Spring water if you can. Bottle, glass bottle, if you can afford it. I know all of us can't. We try to get the plastic tested by the testers. We talked about that before. Dr. Doris talked about it. I spoke about it. DrDerrick mentioned it. But some of us ain't doing it. Small daily choices lead to big long-term health improvements. And to conclude, the evidence is clear. What we eat can either feed disease or fuel healing. So by avoiding these top 10 harmful foods, we reduce our risk for chronic diseases, we improve our energy, and we strengthen our bodies naturally. I thank you for your listening ear. I think I went a little overboard, but thank you, Jesus. This is Jacqueline Warner, and I am out. Enjoy the rest of the webinar. Thank you, Dr. Derrick. Sorry for going so long.
Okay, nice, nice, beautiful. Thank you very much, Queen Jacqueline Warner. I really appreciate that wonderful um, presentation, right? 10 food that are unhealthy, the 10 most unhealthy food, right? Wonderful. Thank you very much, Queen Jacqueline Warner. Any comments or any statements that anybody want to say or want to talk about or want to all right, wonderful. Okay, thank you again, Queen Jacqueline Warner. That was a major class. That was a major class. Um, if they don't get it, well, so you go. Can't help them if they don't get it. All right, so let us move into our next presentation. And of course, it is mind over money. Mind over money. What is that? What is that mind over money? Them say mind over matter, right? The matter might be, a divorce or so or what have you, and you need to get back that mind over the matter. Don't let the matter consume you, so to speak. So think positively, even though the matter might be negatively, but think positively. Same thing with money. All right. Mind over money. Think positively. Don't need to think negatively in reference to money. Because money is just a tool. Money is just a tool that we use. Okay? And so, therefore, first off, coming, there are 4 levels of value. 4 levels of value. These levels represent a hierarchy of value creation, with each level building upon the previous one and often correlating with increasing income potential. Now, we have to basically look at what is implementation. That is the first thing that we need to do is to implement something, right? So therefore, implementation, that's the first one. This is the base level where individuals perform tasks, often involve physical effort or manual work. Income at this level is typically lower, often tied to hourly wages or standard salary. So this is like you're having a little job, right? Only a few people, and I think Robert Kiyosaki in his book um, Cash Flow Quadrant, he talked about working the job. There's no leverage when you are working a job, but we are looking at it from the 4 levels of value. All right. And so the first one, it says it was talking about implementation. And of course, implementation is working a physical job, right? Which, working your 9 to 5, working your your 9 to 5 and or 40 hours a week or something of the sort. What does implementation actually uses? It uses muscles because most of the time is manual labor that you have to do. And sometimes the manual labor is, of course, with the brain, right? Because some people work on computers, right? And do maybe customer service and those kind of things. So they are using mostly the brain of their body, which is muscles, right? And also it's time that you have to use in order to work or implement a task, right? So basically, um, muscles is something physical, definitely, right? And not spiritual, right? So it's either physical or spiritual. Wealth, on the other hand, wealth is spiritual, and a lot of persons don't really fully comprehend how important on the spiritual that wealth is, because God really and truly, uh, whether you believe it or not, God is the one that created wealth. And so there is an abundance of wealth. And that is why, for those who believe in creation, that is why everything was created before the human beings were created. So everything is here for all of us to use. All right. So whether you believe in millions of years that the earth is here, or you believe in 6,000 years approximately, regardless of which one you believe, is there still water here that is supplying the billions of people that is on the planet? All right. We consume water every day. Every day. 8 billion people consume water every day. So where does the water just come from? Right? Where water come from? Right? And so therefore, everything is here for all of us to use. All right. Um, Also, you for implementation, it also has to do with time, right? Is time physical? Yes. Is time limited or is it unlimited? No, time is limited. So you have a limited amount of time at all times, only 24 hours in a day. And so you have to use those muscles to implement in order to generate some cash, right? And so most persons, majority of persons are at this level where they are either making from minimum wage to about 80,000. If you work at Rolls Royce, if you are the sales rep or maybe the mechanic at Rolls Royce, then of course, you'll be making about 80,000 a year, or minimum wage to 80,000 a year, right? At the implementation level. All right. Um, and so let us move to the next level of of value. And this level is unification, right? Unification. And this is where management skills comes in, which means you are managing a certain amount of people, of course. And so, people, you have people working under your management, right? So yes, you're going to be getting a little bit more income at this level, right? And so, because anytime you have people working for you, then it's not just you alone, so to speak, that is working. It's you are ensuring that all those persons that you are managing is doing what they are supposed to do in terms of whatever that production is concerned, or are supposed to be doing, right? And so at this level, it's anywhere from maybe 40,000 to maybe about 250,000, right? That, somebody with management skill can be earning per year, right? Um, and so you do have a few, very few people that maybe earn a little more, who to tell, but this is just average that we are talking about. And so, and so when you look at the the unification level, then you are actually talking about you're actually talking about um, the level involves managing people who perform tasks, right? Whether it's manual task or whatever computer task that they might have. Individuals at this level leverage their management and organizational skills to create value, right? And their income typically exceed those forced solely on implementation. So yes, of course, as we said, it's roughly about 40,000 to 250,000 that you can actually earn at this level. But when we step over, and this is where a lot of persons actually don't like, right? Because when you talk about the next level, which of course is communication, right? Which means you need to use your mouth, right? And this is where leveraging yourself comes in, right? And um, at this level, we are actually looking at individuals use their communication skills to influence and or persuade, often in sales, marketing, or leadership. This level is associated with higher income potential due to the ability to impact larger audience and drive business outcome. And so maybe that person is either a person who is a coach, or maybe a singer, or maybe a poet, and those kind of things. They are also able to use their mouth in order to generate income, right? And so when you talk about communication level, then there's four types of communication that are used, which is verbal, non-verbal, written, and visual, right? So those are the four type of communications that they have. These categories encompass how we share information and connect with others. So the more you connect with others is, of course, the more you are leveraging yourself. Okay? And so at this level now, we are talking about anywhere from 100,000 to 100 million. All right? Because yes, you have some people that have communication skill. Look at Michael Jackson. Oh my goodness. Even now, I'm still making a lot of money through his estate. All right. So when you are able to now communicate, and a lot of people, especially in business, because it's more catered towards business, a lot of persons um, claim that they don't want to talk, and they don't like talking, and what have you. And if you don't like talking, then honestly speaking, apart from winning the lotto, you're not going to really make much money, right? If you don't like to communicate. because you notice, you look around, the people who makes a lot of money averagely, is persons who use their mouth, right? They talk a lot, okay? In their field, they talk a lot, or some sing, all right? So yes, if you look at Oprah Winfrey, what does Oprah Winfrey do? She talk, right? She talks a lot, right? And of course, yes, she's a millionaire and all of that, right? A lot of persons, um, like Madia, what's his name again? Oh my goodness. Um, whew. Anyway, you know who I'm talking about. Don't remember his name right now. Tyler Perry. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Queen Rosanna. Tyler Perry. Does Tyler Perry use his mouth? Yes. He uses his mouth a lot. And remember, we did say that there are, four categories of communication. And of course, Tyler Perry master the video, because that's what he creates. He creates a lot of movies and TV shows. All right. So it is not only communicating a lot, but he's also into unification, which is the management skills, all right, that he possesses. So this is one of the first level that you really need to reach inside of, business, right? Because if you are going to make business, and you want to be a, a mindset in business or entrepreneur, then you need to learn to communicate. So yes, you have to, master the skill of communication, and that is only through practice. That is only through practice. And Queen Jacqueline Warner can tell you and confirm that the more she practicing talking and the more she practicing communication, is the better she get at it. All right. Um, so communication, that's where the big box starts. All right. Then the next one, of course, which is the last one of the four level of value, is imagination, right? Imagination. And that is where the mind come into focus, right? And that is where actually God created us to use our creative imagination, right? And of course, definitely that's where Tyler Perry and those persons are, right? Um, Oprah Winfrey, they have to have a good mind of imagination to create all of those, things that they create. Okay, so it is very important to lift yourself up to the imagination level. This is the highest level of value, which is creation or imagination, where individuals use their creativity and, innovative thinking to generate ideas, solve complex problems, and create new products or services. This level is associated with greatest potential for wealth creation due to the ability to drive significant change and impact. All right. And as you can see, that is what Jeff Bezos have done. And yes, that is what, Bill Gates have done, etc., etc. Right? Imagination, right? Very, very important, right? And so And so this is where we should aspire to. I mean, everyone have some amount of imagination, right? Because imagination is what help us to think about things that we want to implement, but then we have to know act upon it, and that is where a lot of persons fall short because they imagine it, they think about it, right? But then don't implement it, right? And implementation of your imagination is very, very important. This is where people are from 1 million to billions of dollars, like Jeff Bezos, right? His revenue last year was 637 billion plus. All right. And so the imagination, can you imagine when Jeff Bezos start his little book thing in his garage, and then his imagination led him to put all of those books in audio, digital audio. All right. And look where digital audiobooks are today, right? That is how the imagination works. Then you have to now implement it, because if you just think about it and don't implement it, then it's of no use or benefit to anyone, including yourself. All right. So imagination is that important. First of all, you can't make money um, decisions based on emotions. Mm-mm. Because most of the time, that is your that is the downfall of money management, right? You don't see things the way they are. We normally see things the way we are. So it's based on how I am. That is really the lens that I am looking the thing at, based on my belief, my um, knowledge of something, and how I perceive it, right? So we don't see things the way they are. We see things the way we are, right? So let us recognize that mind over money is mainly done by implementation, right? So let us start to implement. Let us not always be in thinking mode or preparation mode, and we just preparing, but not implementing. We are dreaming, but not implementing. We are just thinking, um, and not implementing. We are just imagining, and not implementing. Let us start to implement, because that is really the only way that you can move forward. I thank you all very much. Really appreciate that you allow me this time to actually um, give you that presentation on mind over money. Really appreciate. All right. Thank you all very much. And any comments or questions at this time? 2, 3. All right. Wonderful. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Really appreciate it. All the queens and kings in the house. And over to you, Queen Jacqueline Warner, to give your final.
Thank you so much, Dr. Derrick, for that. King Dr. Derrick, for that amazing presentation with mind over money. And sometimes we take that for granted too. And you're right, communication is the key to almost every aspect of our life. If we don't speak up, we don't get nothing. And that's so true. And the next one was, having our imagination and not putting it, and like you said, we do think of a lot of things, but sometimes we take no action. So all that goes to waste, imagination and putting it into action. It just becomes like a thought or a dream that never manifests at all. So we really got to look at um focusing on the things that matters most to us when it comes to where we want to get in life. Because if we do nothing, we get nothing, and we don't elevate and we don't grow. So we have to take all those and put them into perspective, and whatever matters where we're weak at or what we need to elevate ourselves, let's use it and do the best we can. That's all we can do. So thank you so much for bringing those things to our making us not aware of it, and also helping us to be knowledgeable of it also. That way we can take action and improve. So thanks so much for this amazing platform. And I guess while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and give you my closing thoughts. So we heard about the 10 things, the 10 foods that's dangerous. And we learned about the 5 chronic diseases, diabetes, heart attack, stroke, all of them together, kidney failure, all those things that can cause us to live a short span, even though God gave us a span already for us to live up to. We can even live over that according to and when God made that span of life, he knew how we will live, and he knew what he already knew that the mind of men was wicked. So he gave, it's almost like the benefit. Well, I give them to the age of 80, and some of us gonna make it past 80, and some of us are not. But if we take heed and we change some things, we can die natural deaths, even if it come early or late. Dying naturally, go to sleep and just pass on. That's a beautiful way to leave the earth. Not leave the earth, but pass on into the next world or next life that we was promised by our Heavenly Father. So death is just not it. So that don't mean we take advantage and abuse our system, because hey, we know life after death is going to be marvelous. So let's do as we please. And no, if he said live abundant life and have joy and have peace, no matter how ugly the world may seem, we can still experience those things with the ugly world, because we came into it, and for most of it we enjoy our time here, even though it was ugly. It never was really pretty, but we can make it livable and enjoyable along the journey. And we can do so especially by watching what we put into our mouth, the things that we drink. Everything has to enter the mouth, no matter if it's liquid or solids or just purity junk. It has to enter the mouth. And it starts here, and we can stop it and say, hey, wait a minute, is this good or is it bad? And if it's bad, am I okay with the side effects that I will experience some way down the line? And if you say yes to it, then it's okay. You can go ahead and eat it. But if you say no, that means put it down and pick up something that the body can recognize, that the body going to say, I can work with this. The pancreas could say, yay, I can do this. The liver can say, boy, I could get rid of this quick. It's not going to block up or clog me up. So we got to think about not only what looks good and what tastes good, but we got to look, is it good for our organs? We got to just stop thinking about ourselves. Me. Let me think about my heart. Let me think about my liver. Let me think about my lungs. Let me think about my pancreas. And I think that's what we need to, maybe if we start thinking in that fashion, we will become more alert, more aware, and also at the same time, we will become more knowledgeable in taking care of our body and our body is going to thank us by operating in top capacity for us. So it's time to return to eating real food as nature intended and as our ancestors did for generations, to protect ourselves, our families, and the future generations from diseases that can be prevented by what we put on our plate, and better yet, what we put on in our mouths. So let's be the best advocate by protecting ourselves, researching, reading our labels, and saying, you know what? I want a better life. I want good health so I won't go out with no chronic disease because they are all preventable. They are not our destiny. Okay, so I thank you again for your listening ear. For those that are here, I hope this information will help you or help someone that because some of us could already be doing the right thing so we could pass the information on to others who might not be totally unaware of how they are just, killing ourselves. Simple as that. So thanks again. Back to you, Dr. Derrick.
All right, wonderful. Thank you very much, Queen Jacqueline Warner. Let us stop kill ourselves. Yes, some will die one day, and that's some, right? And some will still be alive until God come. But that's not the point. The point is for you and I to live the best life that we can live, right?
Amen.
I am not disappointed with my life, right? From 1998 until now, I believe that I have lived a good life, very good life, and I thank the Lord wholeheartedly. Thank you very much, Queen Jacqueline Warner. Really appreciate, really appreciate. All right. Everything is about the mind. Everything is about the mind. And if we think that money is bad, right, our money is evil, then for you money is evil, right? Because there are Christians that think that money is evil and that God wants us to live in poverty, but that's not biblical. All right, that's not even biblical, right? The Bible has more about money than faith in the Bible. Yes, the whole story of Solomon, King Solomon, is about money and money management and how to manage money and really how to deal with money and how to look after money, etc., etc., and how to leave uh, a legacy for generations and that's coming from the Bible, that's not coming from rich people. That's not coming from rich people. That's coming from the word. All right? Yep. To leave a legacy for generations to come. All right? That is what God told Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that turn Israel. And if we notice, that is how the Jews live, even to today. Yeah. That is how the Jews live, right? They are very, very money wise type of people, right? Um, the best money managers on the planet that we have
Is the
is
Jews.
yes, you understand? So let us recognize that it is biblical. It's biblical to 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 um to to be prosperous. It's basically biblical. All right. For those who are of that persuasion, right? If not, then you have no issues, right? No problem with money, and please don't have a problem with money. It's just how you manage the money, how your mind is set over the money. All right. Don't make money rule you, but you must be in control with the word on money. All right. Thank you very much. Really, really appreciate it. And at this time, we're just going to thank those persons on YouTube. And remember, over the weekend, that there are um, well, one webinar tomorrow, sister platform, which is tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. The Yvonne Duo, Queen Dr. Yvonne and Queen Yvonne Finn at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And then on Sunday, it will be Dream Team at 12:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So please remember to track over there for another wonderful program. And then, of course, next week we'll do it all over again with Queen Miriam Edwards, Mindset Monday, Tuesday and Thursday deep dive in the 7 p.m. and Singapore and Malaysia Thursday morning, and the whole week Mondays through Fridays. It would be Queen Dr. Yvonne and Queen Yvonne Finn at 1 p.m. Thank you all very much on YouTube. And we are going to now transition here with, of course, our after party with Dr. Queen, Dr. Nadu, just for you. All right. All right.